Hey, me again. I've been on YouTube and there's a guy on YouTube who did some videos and it's really interesting stuff. I find it quite interesting. Basically the guy is trying to work out where he fits spiritually. He accepts that there may be a God, but that it's not necessarily, in his mind, it seems, it's not necessarily a particular kind of form. It's not the Christian God or that, or if it is, he's still, he's still working it out, which is cool. He thinks, it seems, atheists have got it wrong. To say that there is no God is not being intellectually honest, I think is the words. I suppose he's agnostic, I guess, would be the category. But anyway, interesting, and very interesting the way he explains it. It's very well eloquated, better than me. But one of his videos that he puts up, which is called The Irrelevance of God, right? And he asks questions. I think he's genuinely trying to ask for other people's take on it. So I'm a Christian, I'm giving my take on it. So he's asking about, when he's saying the irrelevance of God, it's not like, God is just an irrelevant figure. He's not saying that. What he's saying is in people's lives, whether God exists or not is not the main question. It's a ramification of that affects them that's the main thing. That's the reason why they think the way they do. It's not that God exists or not, it's how it affects them. And he wants to know, effectively, he wants to know why do you believe in God and how do you believe it affects you, sort of thing. He brings up, does God exist, of course, and as a Christian I believe God exists. And he's asking, what is the relevance because of the afterlife? Well, yes, kind of. He then asks to the atheist, which I'm not, why are you an atheist? Well, I'm not, so I can't answer that. But then he asks for the theist, he says, what is it that you are arguing for? In other words, when you're arguing for the existence of God, what are you actually arguing for? Not just the existence of God, but how it affects you. What is that? Other than fear of hell, he says. Fair enough. Is it an immense fear of hell is one of his questions. Is it all Pascal's wager? And what is it really about? Well, to me, it's actually quite simple. As far as I'm concerned, I'm happy to accept, if you like, that God exists. There is not any positive, there's not any positive proof either way. The guy himself explains in his videos that you can't actually say that there's any positive proof that God doesn't exist, because this whole reality experience thing that we have could be a complete illusion. You need to look at his stuff because he explains it far better than I can, but as far as I can see, he is right, and that's my perspective. Reality per se isn't tangible. It is just simply our experience through our senses, which may well be a contrived experience, if you like. So there we go. So the reality that we experience on a daily basis isn't necessarily an objective reality, I think is the right words. And I agree. I definitely do agree. This experience that I'm having is as a result of God. It is the way God created it, and he created it of whatever substance he created it of, and as a result I've become this person with this shell and this bald head and everything, all that comes with it. But the actual me, the person that is me, that's kind of inside this, right, isn't this shell. It is a etheric, spiritual being, right, that's connected to this universe through this interface, if you like. That's the way I see it. Anyway, that's me. What it's about for me, right, is that I went through this process. I was an atheist for a while, and I became a Christian through the experience that I had, which I think will hit a nerve with this guy, because he's talking about the relationship between experience, as in experiences, information interacting with the self. the awareness. Okay, and my experience is that when I actually decided to take this stuff seriously, this business about being a god or not being a god, and actually analyse it for myself, and actually say, okay, fine, hey Graham, just say there's a God, Graham, okay? Let's say there's a God, and let's do the thing. Let's go to church, let's say the prayers, and accept mentally that this isn't a stupid thing to do. Just simply accept it. It's the way it is, okay? God, and I think that will probably answer what he's saying, because he's saying, why do I do that? Is it Pascal's wager? Well, kind of yes, if you like. It's Pascal's wager. An atheist, right, believes that this life that they live, birth to death, that's it, right? As far as they're concerned, this universe, never mind 13.8 billion years, the universe is 100 years old, and that's it. Or whatever, 70, 70, or whatever. It's that life. That is it. That is the universe. The universe exists for them for the time from their birth to their death. It's irrelevant beyond that. Before they were born, there was nothing, they didn't exist, and after they die, there's nothing again, they don't exist. So why do they care about this, 4.6 billion years of the Earth and 13.8 billion years of the universe? It's irrelevant, it's completely irrelevant, because for them, the universe exists for 100 years. So the universe is 100 years old, and that's it. Okay? For me, right, I would rather take the Pascal's wager and say, yes, okay, so I was born, as part of the creation process, I was born into this existence. Now, in the Bible it says, I'm immortal, I will live now for eternity, and that's the way it is, okay? It's a question of how I decide to deal with that eternity. What am I going to do? I'm in this little tiny bit that's 100 years, and then I've got the vast space of eternity to have the rest of it. What would you rather do? Yeah, I would shit my pants a little bit and say, look, I need to sort this out. And as far as I'm concerned, it's quite straightforward. Okay? I can either choose to deny the existence of God, right? And it says in the Bible, if I do that, that's hell. Fine, that's hell. Okay? Or I can choose to say, hey, it might not be true, but I'm going to say I believe it. Because that gets me, at the point of death, into, the great nightclub in the sky or whatever. Do you know what I mean? If I don't do that, I'm going to hell. So, fuck it. I'm going to go for it. That's it. God. Right. Next question sort of thing. Right? That's what I did. And this would be about 20 years ago now. Yes. Okay. And since I made that decision, right, my life has gone from being a pretty crap one, to be frank. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail, but if I did explain what my life was at that point, nobody would really say that I had a real good life as such, right? I didn't have a wife, children, I didn't have a home, I've got my own business now. No, none of that happened, right? Since I did that, and I can actually tie it to the point of making that decision, right? Things have gone up. All sorts of things have happened in my life to make my life better quality. Now, that is the reason why I now will not say, no, there isn't a God. Because all this stuff happened since then. Before then, right, it was all going downhill. And it's not just simply my perception of it, oh, well, it's going down. It really was. I had no way of dealing with it. I had no moral structure, as if it were, for me to deal with what was happening to me. I couldn't reason it why it was happening the way it was. But since I actually did, and I'm not going to say, oh, I found God, it wasn't really like that. It wasn't like a, here I am, look, there's God, he's over there, Jesus has walked into my... It wasn't like that for me, no. It was just simply a conscious decision to say, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's do the dance, okay? All these theists and that and stuff and whatever, and this is a Christian society here, because I'm in the UK, I'm in England, okay? And so it was like, well, all right then, that's the one, I guess. It's the nearest, right? And so yes, Dawkins in that sense is right. It's my upbringing. But you think about it. When were you born? Yeah? In the year Anno Domini, the year of our Lord, Christ, Christianity, the number system that everybody uses to denote their years of existence is dated back to the birth of Christ. So, let's see. Is there one for the spaghetti monster? No. There you go. So that's the reason why. I'm not necessarily saying that the Islamic God is an untrue God, or Buddha... It's not a God thing, that is it? I don't know. I'm not saying that they aren't true, right? But if you think about it, you have God and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. They're kind of three faces, as if it were, of the same being, okay? Why can't there be other faces? Okay? This system, the Holy Trinity and stuff, right? It says in the Bible, you shall worship me, the one true God, right? But if that God has other faces that are written down in different books for different languages and different cultures, you're still worshipping the same God, so you're not breaking the rule. Ha-ha! So, you know. Anyway, enough of that. Is this an immense fear of hell? Not really a fear. No, it's not a negative emotion. It's not fear that I have. Okay, I'm not fearing going to hell. As far as I'm concerned, acknowledging the existence of God and allowing God to pull the strings, as if it were, which is that's the way I feel it, right? Okay, that is about the positive aspect of having a wonderful, if you like, eternity to look forward to. Yeah? Nobody would constructively try to go down the other route, really. If they actually knew that there was a God that exists, okay, and they said, right, fine, okay, God exists, I accept that, right, but I actually don't want to do all the good things, because that's going to end up with, what? Means I'm going to hell. Yes, I want that, I want to go to hell. Yeah, right, anybody would do that. So if you acknowledge the existence of God, there's only one path you can choose, and that is to do the right thing and to get into heaven. Right? I don't know what these things are. Is it like parallel universes? Whatever, I don't know. Eternal damnation and hellfire, whatever. It's a metaphor for something that we can't understand. I know that. I kind of think that maybe hell is a kind of the thing that the atheists are talking about when they say this is your only existence. So if you go to hell, you don't actually kind of go to some sort of spiritual place. You basically just don't exist. They switch your life off and that's the end of it. But if you go to heaven, you carry on existing, and of course that means you're existing and you may communicate with the Creator because they're existing in the same plane or something, I don't know, maybe it's a separate plane. Who knows, you know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, it isn't about the afterlife. That, in my mind, is now taken care of. God exists, that's quite clear in my mind now, and that's the end of it, and I'll go to church every Sunday. It's a ball ache, but there you go, that's the way it is. You meet nice people and you shake hands and stuff like that. Kids go there as well. You know, my kids actually do not have to go to church. I don't make them go to church. They come because we go, right, and they're young. They're only 11 and 9, nearly forgot, 11 and 9, right? But when they get to the age of maturity and they understand that there is other things, if they went and became a Muslim or something, I don't think I'd have a problem with that, right? Or an atheist, because I was an atheist, so I'll be a hypocrite. Okay, so that is the answer, I guess, to your question. Why do I believe in God? Because it's about the afterlife. It's not about this life, okay? It's about getting in the right doors, being on the right list, if you like, okay? But it's simple. I mean, doing good things in this life is a natural. Yes, you want to do good things. So why is it so different? The only difference is that you just simply say, when somebody asks you the question, do you believe in God? You say, yes. That's it. Boom. That's all you have to do. It's not really that hard, okay? You don't even have to go to church, right? You can, like, worship at home or something, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that. Nothing in the Bible about actually attending church every week, you know? It doesn't say that. It says you have to worship God, okay? Because God requires it, and that's the way it is. And going to church is a structural way of doing that, yeah? So I do it. There you go. It makes it easy. 2 hours every Sunday, and that's it. My penance is paid, if you like. You know what I mean? That's it. It's not difficult to do, right? I don't have to get involved in the whole, yes, I don't believe in God, so you can walk to church if you like. I'm going to sit at home and watch telly or something. I don't know. What's the point? You're wasting your afterlife doing that. Okay? And if there is no afterlife, then you're not wasting anything, are you? Because it's kind of, well, in my case, probably about, I don't know, 30 or 40 years or something, then the life switch gets switched off and that's the end of me. So why do I care? I'm not even here to experience whatever was going on beyond that. So why do I even care? Do you know what I mean? I'll do the right thing now. I'll spend 2 hours every Sunday. I'll say prayers at every meal. And that's it. That's all that God asks. And obviously when somebody asks, you say, yes, you believe in God. And that's it. That's all that's asked, effectively. Be nice to people. Like you shouldn't be, you know what I mean? So to me, that's what it's about. It's about just doing the right thing. And yes, if you like, accepting Pascal's wager. Ta-da! Here I am. My life experience from the point where I decided to acknowledge the existence of God. And I'm not talking about God magically walking, just simply saying, yeah, alright then, fair enough, alright, it's a God, there you go. Happy now, sort of thing, you know. And things changed, for me. Over the last 20 years, things have gone from a life of shit, effectively, to what I would consider a normal life where I am actually getting what I want. You know, that is the reason why. It isn't about just simply, you know, saying, yes, there's a God, and then, right, now what? Where's my miracles? It doesn't happen like that. Not to me, it isn't. It's just about making an intelligent, conscious decision to just simply do the right thing, which you should do anyway, and just add in some extra flowery bits. Going to church, saying some prayers, you know, that sort of thing. That's all. And saying, Graham, do you believe in a God? Yes, I do. That's it. That's all that's asked. It's not complicated. So why not just do it and be done?